Hello, Adam. Thank you for your time. So an unfair question, but we must get some historical context here, right? Debrief us.
So I think it's really important to try to understand what has happened here in the context of actually why Northern Ireland was created just over a century ago, which was essentially to ensure that parts of Ireland would remain part of the UK when Ireland first got its independence. And in fact, the borders of Northern Ireland were drawn around specific populations to ensure there would always be a pro-UK, pro-unionist majority. So what we're seeing really for the first time is that a political party whose fundamental reason for existence is to remove Northern Ireland from the UK has actually topped a regional poll for the first time. And I think that obviously has major significance in terms of trying to understand the kind of policy direction of the country, but also the narrative of the country as well. But I think it's, we need to not quite look at it in the context of it being inevitable, towards a push towards, Northern Ireland leaving the UK and joining Ireland. So I think, the reality is that, Sinn Féin only won an extra 1% of the vote, and I think one of the reasons why they topped the poll this time was actually one of the because of the divisions and weaknesses within the unionist political movements. But I think it's also significant in the context of the wider UK political scene, where we have 2 out of the 4 nations are being effectively controlled, or at least the top of the executives is being controlled by political parties that fundamentally do not want to be in the UK. So I think it's really important, both in a kind of a regional perspective, but also in a national perspective as well.
So you're saying it's not just about whether the United Kingdom may or no longer be united, but how swift could be such a theoretical process, or how much ground such a move has when we're talking about the citizens there?
Well, I think it's not something that, will be imminent or even inevitable. There are various conditions that need to happen. Firstly, Sinn Féin are not going to be able to control the government themselves. They will be part of a power sharing agreement, which has really been the basis for peace in Northern Ireland for the last quarter of a century. So, even in a situation in future where, Sinn Féin did control the government in their own right, they wouldn't be able to call a referendum that would lead to Northern Ireland leaving the UK and joining Ireland on their own. They actually need specific permission of the UK government, and specifically the UK Secretary of State, its Minister for Northern Ireland, to be able to do so. And they are only able to actually sanction that if there's clear evidence that actually a majority of the people in Northern Ireland, and there would also be a poll in Ireland as well, would actually vote for that to happen. So I think there are, probably in the short term, there's a very, very small likelihood that this would spark any kind of immediate return to Northern Ireland. But in the medium and the long term, I think we're certainly looking at an increased sort of projection towards, reunification of Ireland. But I think it's certainly not inevitable.